session for leaders today. This session is really about showcasing the value of your Microsoft investment from a teaching and learning perspective. So for those of you on this morning's session, Travis kicked us off with a sort of all-up picture of, a vision for education across Catholic schools in Australia, and then I had the fun job of talking to a day in the life of both a teacher, a student, and an IT pro within a school. And this session that myself and Andrew Bowser, my amazing learning delivery specialist colleague, will be talking to is really the specifics of those tools for the classroom. So thanks everyone for having us. My previous role was in that learning delivery specialist role. Andrew has jumped into those shoes very nicely. He's a little bit louder than me, which is surprising, and loves Microsoft technologies for teachers and students as much as I do. So we're super excited to talk to you all about, those two pillars, as we call them, in Microsoft land, that really do support teaching and learning in the classroom. So we are going to focus specifically in this session on Microsoft Teams, which obviously appears in lots of places, but also the broader Office apps as well, which is obviously those familiar ones there. Also look at Minecraft and its importance, and the benefits of tapping into A3 or A5 licensing to access those Minecraft licenses, and also look at Windows 10 as well. So, when it comes to Windows devices, though it is over there, a lot of our technologies do work across different operating systems. However, they work best on Windows 10. So we will talk to that one as well. So let's just talk to some licensing things. When you invest in Microsoft 365 for education, through the student use benefit, as it is known, you get some fabulous capabilities for your students. As I said, we're going to really focus on Office, Windows, a bit of Intune for education as well, and Minecraft Education Edition. The other sessions that are currently running will be looking at some of those more technical, business-related technologies that are available through M365 licensing. So they're all being recorded, so you'll be able to access them later as well if you were torn between two worlds about which stream you join. So again, Travis showed a similar version of this slide earlier. For us, when your students have Microsoft technologies in their hands from the moment they enter primary school through to secondary and on to higher education, they are building the skills they need for both tertiary education as well as further employment and career progression as well. And we have a number of tools. It starts with Minecraft and MakeCode and Flipgrid in the junior years. It moves into using the Office 365 platform and Teams for their learning throughout upper primary and secondary education. And then, in the later years of high school and definitely in higher ed, both, VET, so what's called TAFE, as well as university, really starting to make use of both the technologies and the learning platforms. Sorry, didn't mean to leave LinkedIn off. The learning platforms we have to upskill students, because quite frankly, and this is a bit of a controversial slide sometimes, but I like to use it. And I think it's a really important one. I've got older teenagers now and a daughter who's 20 for some reason. I don't know how that happened. But they're all now entering the world of work, and they're looking at higher education and the like. And Microsoft and Windows leads in the real world, as we tell students. That real world does exist. And we look at the jobs. Literally, this was from this morning. If you seek for the word Microsoft, that will search both the job descriptions as well as the content of those job descriptions. There's nearly 18,000 jobs available today. Likewise with Windows. Now, don't get me wrong, there might be some Windows cleaners jobs in there, but majority will be looking for Windows operating system. Again, we're looking at nearly just over 4,000 jobs. And then we look at the other platforms and operating systems. we can see that, building a student's skill set around the use of Microsoft technologies is going to set them up for success in the future. Not just for work either. We work with universities in the education team in Australia, and we are working with every single university, or pretty much every single university, to help them build their Microsoft 365 environments as well. So it's an important piece, I think, to mention that a student with Microsoft skills is a student that's ready for whatever comes next. And so we talk about these foundations, and like I said, the other breakout sessions will look at this more comprehensively, but as a big picture in regards to enabling this learning environment through Microsoft 365. This is a journey that IT departments go through to enable that at a classroom level. Now, with Microsoft 365, as you travel, as a diocese or education office travels through that journey, sometimes they're also looking at other vendors, right? But they typically only offer point solutions. And so, trying to integrate all those multiple point solutions together can be quite difficult when systems don't talk to one another. And so, again, when a education office adopts 365 holistically, it becomes a little bit simpler using the Microsoft Enterprise Mobility and Security. It's an intelligent mobility management and security platform when you invest in M365. So with identity and access management, what that means is you're ensuring a really secure connection between people, devices, apps, data. Remote learning and remote working, which continues today, has definitely made clear to many organizations across the globe that they weren't operating securely, that staff were transferring files in really unsecure ways. I think Trav mentioned the old USB effect earlier today. When everything lives in M365, an organization has that control over the data and bringing everything together in a secure way. There's also threat protection. So that's basically detecting and investigating advanced threats and compromised identities and the like. I know speaking with an independent school, which has a name that is very similar or almost identical to a university over in the UK that was a little bit, what's the word? They said some not great things about Russia, basically. And then within 48 hours, a local independent school here in Australia with a similar name had been attacked. And thankfully, the principal was working on the weekend and was the one that identified it. And thanks to some Microsoft solutions, but now they're investing further in their Microsoft solutions, that school is on the way to recovery. So we need to be ready for those threats. And protecting, an organization so that it's adaptive and has that built-in intelligence. The endpoint manager stuff, is important. It used to be called Intune, gone through about 74 different name changes, but the idea is that managing devices, not just Windows devices, but your other devices, should cause the least amount of disruption. And so it brings together Intune and Configuration Manager, and with some new intelligence as well. And then finally, the information protection that we see as well down the far end here is around protecting sensitive data everywhere. No matter whether it's shared via email, whether it's in Teams, whether it's in OneDrive, have the ability for an organization to control how the files are used is really important as well. So that's the, I guess, technical way of talking through things. Me being me, I really like a more picturesque way of talking through things. And this is the magic for me, being a former teacher and former learning delivery specialist. This is the stuff I've lived and breathed for the past 7 or 8 years, both as a teacher myself, as a learning delivery specialist. But what's really, really important is that all this information, all these other graphics or boxes around, with the effective integration of those or use of those or deployment of those tools, they all enable this center box. And I think it's why it's very much front and center. So yeah, the M365, oh, and the M365 stack really does empower a diocese to digitally transform what they do, and put the teachers and students at the center of that transformation using these tools. So let me just quickly erase that very violent red writing. So as I said earlier, we are going to really focus the next 32 minutes on Teams, Windows, what else are we going to look at? Minecraft and Office 365. So let's jump into Windows 10. For Windows, it really is about helping students and educators do great things. We look at it from the perspective of accessibility, security, and privacy, and being built for learning anywhere. One of the challenges quite often is internet connectivity. With a Windows device, you can do a very large amount of work offline if you don't have internet connectivity. For rural and remote schools, that's a really important factor. So yeah, all of those security features I mentioned before are all tied into an M365 license when managing those Windows devices. But I do want to focus more on that teaching and learning aspect. We let the IT pros worry about managing devices and deploying them. I guess the important message here is that if the IT pros are able to manage those devices and make it easier for the end users, teachers have more time to actually get the busy teaching work done in the classroom rather than worrying about the hassle of managing technology. And so for me, I think the benefits of Windows really are around those learning tools and some of those ease of access capabilities, the built-in immersive reader capabilities, as well as the ink and pen are really important for improving student capability. Already mentioned the working online and offline. And then from that endpoint manager perspective and managing the devices, we know that a lot of schools, I've done a lot of work with Broken Bay over the years, Broken Bay Diocese, who have a lot of iPads in their fleet. The endpoint manager experience does allow Macs and iPads to be managed using the same technology used to manage Windows devices. So again, rather than, purchasing and investing in extra third-party tools, you can use what you've got within M365. So with access on Windows 10, if you go to microsoft.com/accessibility, we really do, I think, live and breathe our empowering every person to achieve more. I think we have 7 different areas of accessibility. These are the 4 main ones I think we see in education around vision, hearing, mobility, and neurodiversity. And Windows 10 out of the box, without installing anything extra, can support students who have vision needs, who have hearing needs, who have mobility issues, or who have neurodiversity issues as well. So that ease of access center and the built and the associated office experience, I really do think is the best experience for a student with particular both physical and learning needs. But then I think the technologies that we create for people with particular needs then extend out and support all students. So read up about universal design for learning if you haven't yet before. But I really do think that our approach to UDL and developing technologies to support specific needs end up supporting everybody. So, the learning tools, immersive reader technology, which I'll mention further in 365, is amazing. Dictation is not just in 365, it's in Windows as well. So that Windows experience really does empower each student. And then there's all these other tools. These are the ones we don't talk about as much. Already mentioned ease of access, however. You've got Translator and PowerPoint. That is a much better experience on Windows. When you present your screen, you can activate, let's do that now. You can activate subtitles so that every word you say is presented on the screen. For students who have delay issues or students who have hearing impairments, that can be a simple and effective tool straight out of the box again, available through Windows, and the built-in microphone functionalities as well. Accessibility checker, I showed that earlier as well, and generating alt text. And if you haven't yet checked out Office Lens, it's available through Windows, but also as a standalone app. So I mentioned a couple of these earlier today. School Data Sync is a tool that connects your student information system to Microsoft 365. When School Data Sync is in play, everything is a lot easier, both from a teacher management perspective, but also an IT pro management perspective. So that definitely is something that if you are, either already along your Microsoft journey or looking to start your Microsoft journey, School Data Sync should definitely be top of your priority list. Intune for Education. This is a great way, I think, for individuals in schools to be able to manage school-based fleets of devices. So I've used Intune for Education to manage my own set of devices for the past few years. So I've since handed them over to Andrew. But Intune for Education is a nice, simple, web-based dashboard that allows me to determine what apps do I want placed onto particular devices. I had two sort of sets set up, and I used Intune for Education to manage that. Again, it's a nice option for teachers, for those classroom teachers who are sometimes given the responsibility of managing technology, but also the IT pros as well, to manage both the Windows and iOS and macOS devices in their fleets. Security, I sort of already mentioned that, and it is being dealt with a lot more comprehensively in the other streams. But it is important to know that when you're using a Windows device, again, the out-of-the-box capabilities, as well as the M365 licensing capabilities, do provide you can have trust in the experience being secure and your students being secure. Gartner is a research company that does, funnily enough, a lot of research. And we are the leader when it comes to security with technology using that endpoint protection experience. So yeah, with Windows, we've got devices at every price point. I was actually somewhere, maybe Officeworks, JB Hi-Fi, I forget, the other day, and the cheapest device on that display was a Windows device, one that I actually have used before myself. And so, whether it's at that entry point, whether it's at the midpoint or the high range point, there is a device to suit every user. We have a very strong BYOD experience in Australia, probably world leading, in fact, compared to the rest of the world. And so the BYOD experience means that parents are going out into stores, purchasing devices, sometimes with direction from the school, sometimes without. And I think it really is important that, when we're giving parents direction around the type of devices they should be looking for, if there isn't any specific requirements, that these 4 areas are the most important. Don't know why I circled them like that, but they're the most important to include. You want that multi-touch and inking capability. You want it to be ruggedized, so it's, kid-proof to a certain extent. You want that battery to last as long as possible, and you want it to be safe and secure. So there, I think, in my opinion, the top 4. Now, if you are, in a diocese that does purchasing on behalf of schools, we do have a program that ensures that those devices are as low as possible. There are specifications around the size of the RAM and all the other technical specifications to get that price. But our Shape the Future program does bring the price of Windows devices down specifically for schools with an enterprise purchasing approach. And of course, we can't forget our Surface family when we talk about Windows. So, if your school is looking to invest in Surface, we have, almost a Surface as a service solution from end to end. So from the moment that it comes out of the box from the factory to the moment it ends up in the student's hands, and even is retired after 4 or 5 years of use. My son's still using his Surface Go after 6 years. There is an end-to-end solution when your school invests or your diocese invests in Surface. So we have lots of Surface specialists available for you to reach out to. So yeah, Windows, is an important part of the optimum teaching and learning experience in the classroom. Bit of a shift now to a specific tool that works on Windows and other platforms. And that's Minecraft Education Edition. And, you know, I know Dan Bowen, who I don't know, he's not on the call because he's presenting in another stream. He is very passionate about Minecraft not being something that you do just to keep kids busy. It is a tool that has the potential to create rich, immersive STEM experiences, classroom-friendly features with, you know, teacher controls and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I mentioned before, my 20-year-old daughter, she still plays Minecraft to this day, as do all my kids. It's a tool that I don't think will ever get old with kids because it has unlimited potential for creativity and innovation, from kindergarten and before right through to year 12 and beyond. So in Australia, we are the absolute world leaders when it comes to using Minecraft. And when you have an A3 or A5 license, Minecraft Education Edition licenses are a part of that agreement. So because we are so world leading, we've invested a lot in curriculum curation. So this is so if you go to education.minecraft.net/Australia, that's a landing page designed for Australian teachers. And lots of resources in there. My personal favorite being this curriculum roundup gathered together by Bron Stuckey, who's a bit of a legend in the world of gamification and game-based learning. Some great resources there available to you. And then I can see Bryony Watson on the call pick up that exact document, which is freaking me out. Well done, Bryony. So another legend when it comes to game-based learning is the amazing Andrew Bowser, who's run a lot of Minecraft workshops in his time and also used it in his former life as a teacher. So Bowser, I'm going to hand it over to you to share some awesomeness of Minecraft from the classroom.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very, very much. Give you a break from talking, Megan. You've been doing an amazing job. Give you a virtual round of applause. Right, well, virtual, I'll do it real. Lovely photo, by the way. Don't know where you got that photo, but look at the applause coming up. Okay, so my name is Andrew Bowser. Lovely to be here. Very excited to see the presentation that has been running today. I'm even absorbing just the diversity of tools that is available to everyone. So very, very exciting. And over the next 10 minutes, so what do we get? 140, 10 minutes or less. I'm going to show you the full potential of Minecraft Education Edition. And very important to understand this full potential because it can get confused with having a stigma of being a game. We actually use Minecraft Education Edition as a learning tool, all right, specifically designed as a learning tool in the education space. And there's certain features that Microsoft have basically integrated into Minecraft to make it more teacher controlled and teacher centric. So let's go on a little lovely Minecraft journey. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like and how it becomes more than just an internal learning program. So we're going to have a look at Minecraft, taking it out of the digital world and actually putting it into the real world. So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 1 second and I'll make sure I pick the right one. That should be it. Excellent. So let's go on a little journey and just interrupt me, Megan, if any major questions come up in between. Just got to move my stream out of there. Okay, so for those that don't know much about it, it is an open world platform that promotes creativity, collaboration, and problem solving in an immersive environment. Again, there's many versions of Minecraft out in the wild. We are solely talking about the Education Edition because the Education Edition is solely utilized for teaching and learning in the classroom. There's specific tools that allow that to happen. And there's 4 main ways that I love to see the integration of Minecraft Education Edition. The first one is exploring real life buildings. And we're going to go on a quick 2-minute tour to good old Italy. I thought that would be very appropriate and go on a lovely virtual expedition. I'm going to show you how that works. But you can also take students to places that no longer exist. So we have, worlds from modern history, such as the RMS Titanic, in which I have to actually look at schematics of the Titanic and rebuild one of the decks from the original schematics, which is really great. But also go to the Roman Colosseum, for example, that, in its heyday, and see exactly some of those amazing virtual tools. We use it for numeracy to practice ratio and proportion. We actually had a student that really struggled with area and volume. Obviously, area and volume is very spatial, and you need spatial awareness to really understand depth and height and width with 3D objects. Minecraft is a fantastic way to incorporate a lot of that numeracy. within the program there. We have hundreds of mathematical lessons within Minecraft. Learn about survival. Now, this is interesting because actually you would use this for society and culture and science. So obviously there's a huge push at the moment in science for interplanetary travel. We have a helicopter on Mars. And, while we're looking at aspects like sustainability, we can actually put students on these alien environments and talk about how you would become a sustainable civilization. And of course, visualization, reading, and comprehension is massive in the education edition of Minecraft. We have the immersive reader in which we can translate any sign language or non-playable character to over 65 different languages, text to speech, picture dictionary, and so much more that we can do. And I'm going to show you where you can start exploring all of these amazing research documents in your own time. We have a chemistry update. So we have a huge array of chemistry within Minecraft Education Edition, including some science tools like the atom atomizer. We have the periodic table of elements. We have an element deconstructor. And I'll put a few links into the chat after this on how to have a look at the science journal and some of these amazing things within the Minecraft Education Edition. For geography or marine studies, we have an aquatic update with 17 standard aligned activities across the curriculum. Obviously, we have aligned across ACARA because there's many states within New South Wales, not just, Australia, not just New South Wales alone. Here's a good idea of the periodic table of elements that you can utilize in Minecraft. So it has a lot of these specific KLA focuses. And then you can actually take some of the amazing things that students do in Minecraft and then use it to solve real world problems. So look at it as like an early adoption tool of AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and also architectural design. So these students, for example, they were tired of their 1960s school build. Their toilets were stinky, so they decided to design a brand new one, put it out into the wild, find a place in the school environment, flowers, and then literally take photos. So we have mixed reality, so you can actually take your models from Minecraft and put it into the real world, and we'll have a look at a few of them. You study music. Maybe you want to recreate famous historical events. 10 points to anyone in the chat that knows exactly that album cover right there. Megan, you can be the adjudicator on that one. But also, maybe you're doing a decade study. Yes, perfect, excellent. In Minecraft. And we actually had students, study urbanization and gentrification within the area. And then they had to go and recreate a home from a particular decade. So you can actually see here, Nash, who was studying in the 1960s, that's it, he groove on. He designed this literal model brick by brick and then filmed a virtual tour of that particular model. And we had this entire diverse library of these amazing 1960 architectural homes for urbanization. We have some student showcases that you can, let me just go back one, that you can see here. These students in particular were studying medieval history. Let me just hit play on this one. And they incorporated their models. All right, so they actually were studying medieval history and they designed a medieval stable and then put it into their PowerPoint presentation. So you can see the versatility of actually using Minecraft Education Edition just outside from using it within the learning platform itself as a, as a digital game. Now, here's a quick story. Braden identified an issue within his school where a lot of students were dropping food on the playground floor, Surprise there. So Braden actually found an opportunity to build a virtual birdhouse in Minecraft Education Edition. You actually see the 3D model spinning around there. He used the augmented reality that's built into our Windows 10 applications, pulled that model out, and then he went around and actually put it on certain trees. He went to the P&C, got funding for the timber, for the TAS department, and they actually built these birdhouses around the school, which, it's a prime example of using Minecraft as a virtual and digital tool to solve real life problems. And this is Braden's pitch that, we wanted him to do to the TAS and PNC, and they absolutely loved it. It was so successful that then the primary school actually made their own little versions of these cute little birdhouses in Minecraft to put that around. We have parents calling up wanting the models to take home because it is such a strange and new phenomenon that you can actually take things that students are building in the program and put them in the real world. So, yeah, lovely little medieval church there, the toilet block that students made. I love that. They even put the little horse going down, miniature pony, possibly. Okay. Oh, benches, for example. School are going to buy new benches within the school environment. So they literally, something so simple like designing a bench, then going around taking photos on where these benches should be placed. And of course, the 3D model input. So PowerPoint supports 3D models into its presentation tool. So why not have something that students have created from the ground up? Okay, I am running out of time, so I'm just going to jump out of that PowerPoint. And Megan did state that there's an amazing Minecraft Education Edition website. There is this Australia resources because we are the number one globally of usage for Minecraft Education Edition. Feel free to check out these amazing resources, the starter kit for Australian educators, but don't feel lost or afraid or alone when you start to explore your journey. If you click find a lesson, for example, we have plenty, hundreds even, of curriculum-aligned lessons that you can find within Minecraft Education Edition that you can see right here. I actually picked one out for us, the city of Florence in Italy, right? Very topical. And I want to quickly show you how this looks, all right? So you have the learning objectives, you have the guiding ideas. It's literally a lesson plan, the student activities, for example. And then when you're ready to just grab one of these amazing worlds, you click the world download aspect there. That will boot up Minecraft Education Edition to the student's machine. And just to show you exactly what this looks like, just hit play. And it does take you to amazing and immersive teaching and learning environments. You can go on virtual tours that allows that spatial awareness and that spatial dimension that you just can't get anywhere else. Students are using AR and VR and augmented reality to explore the world. Why not use this fantastic tool that would come with your A3 and A5 licenses? And this is amazing. Look at this. This is literally over in Florence, in Italy, right here. We have, non-playable characters. We have a tourist guide right here. I can go and explore and talk to people. I can look at the architecture. I can even lock this down so students don't get distracted and go and build. And we can go and explore some of these amazing different places, like the Piazza della Repubblica, for example, the Ponte Vecchio. We can go and right-click on the tour guide and turn on Immersive Reader. Again, Megan showed Immersive Reader throughout our Office 365 suite of tools, but yes, it is here in Minecraft Education Edition. And just to fit the theme, we could go through and let's translate anything in here to good old Italian. Where are we here? Italian, alphabetical, of course. There we go. And I want the whole document, okay? Line focus, and let's just turn on some nouns. And you should hear this lovely tourist guide speak to us in the native language of where we're at.
Leggere I segni e premere il pulsante sul blocco dei comandi. Sarai teletrasportato alla...
It is sensational, honestly. It is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm just going to bounce out of our lovely Minecraft Education Edition, throw it back to Megan in 1 second. But, one thing that we're always time poor on is obviously lesson creation and content, okay? So, in the Find a Lesson on the Minecraft Education Edition website, have no fear because there are plenty of scaffolded lesson plans and resources attached to these worlds. That's what makes it such an amazing platform for teaching and learning. You don't have to go and create everything from scratch. So let's have a look on religion here, and let's go to the island of holy worship. Okay, so here's a fantastic world. Got some learning objectives, some guiding ideas, some student activities. Learners will discuss different religions. They will collect information about religions and give an overview of these religions, and they do some research. But maybe you want to grab some resources that's around this lesson. So you can see the supporting files section. You don't have to go and create all of these aspects alone, which is absolutely fantastic. They come with plenty of stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different lesson plans for you to dive deep in. You can actually see here there are learning objectives, the areas of learning experience, cross-curricular skills, Everything is laid out there for you just to grab the program and run. Now, you don't have to fully utilize and fully understand how to drive Minecraft. The kids will do that. You just need to understand its amazing possibilities. It is such a deep rabbit hole and such an exciting rabbit hole to go down to as well, especially when it's mapped to our education sector. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, but I believe now Minecraft is embedded within the Microsoft A3 and A5 licenses. So you will get that with your license package, which is sensational because, let's face it, if there's any way that you want to kind of go down this teaching and learning scaffolding and making sure you have full control over what the students are doing, there is no better platform for spatial awareness than Minecraft Education Edition. And there's some fantastic teacher and learning tools that are built into the program to give you more teacher and learning control. So pausing the program, for example, locking students out that are misbehaving, setting up small groups. There's lots of great things that we can do in Minecraft Education Edition. So that's my little spiel. Obviously, we don't have a lot of time, so I have to duck out. I'm going to throw it back over to you, Megan Towns. Thank you very much for allowing me to go on this fabulous journey. And if there's any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. And I'm going to be brave and use that cool presenting mode thing and see if my face pops up in the bottom right-hand corner as well. All right, so great context there for the importance of Minecraft in teaching and learning. And as Andrew said, it's part of the licensing rather than have to pay per user. It's part of the licensing agreement, and you could then make choices about how that is deployed as software across your organization. You can also just download it straight from the Windows Store, which is the way a lot of schools end up managing it. And yeah, simply just a great tool for education. Now, the last two that we knew we'd spend less time on, but we have sort of focused on these in other areas today as well, but Office apps. Office today is not the Office that you remember from your childhood. It has come a very, very long way from what you see on the screen. And so, OneDrive is a big part of the story when it comes to managing your own files in the cloud. It does work better on Windows 10, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, being able to sync your files down to your computer from both your OneDrive or your SharePoint or Teams spaces, and then work offline or work in the native apps easily is a really important part of the Windows and Office Better Together story. When it comes to the productivity with those tools, I'll talk about Teams a little bit later, but there are broader tools within Office 365. And we know through research that Teams deployment works better when your teachers and users have a broader understanding of the Office 365 capabilities. So that includes tools like OneNote and Forms. And OneNote just continues to go from strength to strength. It's probably the tool that turned me into the fangirl that I am today. And I love that we continue to develop that specific piece of technology. If you don't yet follow Mike Tholfsen on Twitter, he's pretty awesome for updates. I find I hear everything from him first. But OneNote is a really powerful tool for students to produce more ideas. If they've got a digital pen in their hand and they're using OneNote, they will produce more scientific and mathematical ideas. If they're taking notes and brainstorming, they'll also retain more information when it's being written as well. So OneNote is a great tool for that. Learning tools, we've already focused on quite a few times. I don't need to show it again, but this graphic has just gone, I think we're going to run out of space. Eventually the word's going to become too small as we roll out more and more learning tool functionality across not just our desktop Office software, but also Office Online. And other tools as well. But Office desktop software definitely makes the experience easy for students who are working offline. Then we have some newer tools. So Whiteboard app is pretty impressive. Flipgrid is a third-party tool. I think we've invested in Flipgrid. It integrates into Teams and it now embeds in OneNote and lots of things. But from a whiteboard perspective, I think this is probably one of the most exciting tools we have at the moment. So Whiteboard Online is available through any device that has a browser. That is only through A3 and A5. The Whiteboard app on Windows and iOS is free. But yeah, Whiteboard Online, you do need to tap into your A305 clap. So it stands alone, as I said, but it will also integrate into Teams. So, you know, the ability to do collaborative mind mapping really quickly and easily through a Teams call is there. The ability to do group work, so group assignments are coming to Teams very soon. And they'll be able to, students will be able to work together on a group task in a notebook. And it's actually going to track who's doing what, as you can see with those names on screen, which it hasn't done up until now. I mentioned this in the opening sort of conversation. Another part of the Office 365 investment for A3 and A5 are some newer tools like bookings, which I love for personal productivity, but can also be used by schools for parent-teacher interviews, for booking rooms and equipment as well. It doesn't have to be people. So the bookings tool available through A3 and A5 is really nice as well. You can customize it, as you can see there. My Analytics is another strong one. Already spoke about that previously and sort of running out of time as we push into the final element of this teaching and learning experience with your Microsoft investment, and that's Teams. So I could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles for 3 years about the awesomeness of Teams as a platform, but I only have 2 minutes. So instead, I will talk to what we are talking to at Microsoft, and that's hybrid learning. We're seeing it with Melbourne at the moment and broader Victoria. Apologies if you're in rural Victoria because you're being impacted as well. You know, just this morning they've announced that the Greater Melbourne area will go into a further 7 days of learning remotely. That's 2 weeks that students are having off class. If your school is prepared with a hybrid learning environment, whether your school is having to shift to remote learning due to coronavirus, fire, flood, all of those things have shut down schools in the last 12 months, 18 months. My son's school was shut down due to floods earlier in the year. It's a great time we're living in. But Teams provides that platform with these 5 pillars of having one spot for everything, many ways to inspire learning beyond just files and assignments, bringing everyone together through the Teams platform as a meeting experience, expanding everyone's potential through accessibility features, and supporting and understanding students through insights. Teams provides that hybrid learning platform, which is, I think, essential in the year of 2021. Just conscious of the time, so some quick features. Breakout rooms are here and are continuing to expand and get better. So that's something that we needed and something that is now here. Large meeting support, the ability to switch from a small meeting to a Teams Live type meeting experience, also coming very soon. Registration experience, a lot of schools invest in third-party tools to create registrations for their online events. That's now going to be a part of the Teams experience as well, as long as you've got A3, A5. Just conscious that it is 2 o'clock now. But these next slides, we're just going to talk to some Teams rooms experiences. Some schools are now investing in that due to the COVID experience and wanting to create spaces to come together using their existing Microsoft investment. So Teams, as a digital learning platform, yes, provides learning opportunities, but it also provides a platform for the work to get done by your corporate and admin users as well. So that is our teaching and learning tools available when you invest with Microsoft 365. So I'm going to end this call very shortly so that you can jump over into the second stream, and that is with Manasi. She's going to be covering off the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 and the way that that can really support business leaders across dioceses and schools as well. Even if you're real teaching and learning focus, I promise you'll get a lot out of that experience. So if you can please complete the feedback form as well, I'll pop it into the chat. But for now, if you want to jump over into the 1B stream, you will find Manasi over there. So I'll click stop recording and I will see you around very soon. Thanks, everyone.